Hello, welcome to a new episode, and today we're going to be talking about stop watering dead plants. Have you ever heard that phrase, stop watering dead plants? You got a shirt, you got a hat, stop watering dead plants. Now, if you're not a plant guy, like I have become, see that? That's a nice plant. This is the ZZ plant. I don't know what its real name is, but look at that. That's growing pretty good. Now, if this plant was dead, I could water it all that I wanted to, but it would never come back to life because it's dead. So all that time you take to go put water into the holder, bring the water to the plant, pour it in there, wait and watch, and wait some more, watch, wait to see if it comes back to life. All that time, multiplied over weeks and weeks and weeks is just wasted time. You're doing something that just doesn't bring any fruit. It's pointless, it's useless. I was thinking about this idea that goes along with this, where you water the things that you want to see grow. You spend time on the things that you want to see grow. And so it's kind of the opposite. It's kind of the opposite phrase, water where you want to see the things grow. And I heard this in more of a psychological standpoint, where when you're raising kids, or you have you have employees, or you're a leader in like a church, you don't want to always focus on negative things, because as you focus on negative things, all those negative things start to grow, because that's where your focus is, right? You can find weeds in everything. Like if your garden bed has good plants, like say it has like 20 good plants, there's always going to be some weeds popping up. But if you get distracted by those little weeds, you miss the whole picture of a good and healthy garden. Same thing with a person. If you're having good things grow up and little weeds start popping up here and there, as you start to move your focus from the good stuff happening to the little bad things happening, then those bad things start to grow. Why? Because that's just what you're focused on, and it becomes more apparent that the bad things are happening. Now, before I get too deep into this, bad things or let's say moral flaws that happen, bad things that happen, say you're raising kids and they do something wrong, there is a point to take the weed, pull it out, or take the weed, get the root, pull it out so it doesn't come back, right? That is not the same thing as focusing on it. You deal with the problem, you throw it away, you move past it, you move forward, you continue to water the good things and continue to grow. Now, when you water and weeds pop up, they do something else wrong, and a weed pops up, you deal with it. You get rid of it. But you don't continue to just focus on that weed, continue to pour water onto that weed, continue to focus, hey, I know we got rid of this, is this better? I know we got rid of this, is this better? No, we got rid of this, is this better? I know we got rid of this, is it better? And just on and on and on. And I feel like this comes back to one of my earlier videos where I was talking about how if you do something wrong as a parent, you're not going to ruin your kid forever. And how just this overanalyzing, overthinking, parenting, and how if I do one thing, I'm going to ruin them for the rest of their lives. Because a lot of us have instances with our parents where they do something and we still remember it to this day. We remember it 30 years later, 20 years, 50, 60, 70 years later, where this one thing happened and it just stuck with us in a negative way. And so my worry was that I would do something and this could be that time where this negative thing stuck with them for the rest of their life. And that still might and probably is the case. But one thing is, we can't control when that happens. And two, most of the things that we do are not a specific pivotal moment for the kid. So when we make a mistake, we learn from it, we grow from it, we heal from it, and then we move on. And so this is the same thing as the weeds. Like if we continue to just focus on those mistakes that we make, those things are just going to continue to grow and get worse and worse. And I'll show you give you a better example of this with my wife. Man, in the past, I've had a hard time being overcorrective with her, in the sense that her communication style and my communication style is like kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm very logical, analytical. I'm a software developer, so that's the way that I think in like steps 1, 2, 3. This is how it's done. And not necessarily like my way is better, but it will sometimes if I do think 1, 2, 3, I will think that my way is better, just by the nature of the thinking. If you understand what I'm saying, like not the way that I think is better, but the way to approach things is better. And sometimes that's true, sometimes it's not. But then sometimes I can get so logical that I can't see it any other way. I can't see the other logical argument that someone else is making, if that makes sense. So you have multiple possibilities to figure out something, multiple paths to get there. But when you get so focused in on your answer, you can't see the other paths. And so I was kind of doing this with my wife where she would say something, but it would just like didn't make any sense, and I would point it out to her, and it would just cause this frustration with her, and then frustration with me. I'm like, what you're saying like just doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you saying this and then saying that, and like trying to explain this, but we're talking about something else. And it was just like this big mess where it just became overly emotional, and then she started just overthinking how to speak to me. And so then I'm just like overcritical on everything, and then she's overthinking everything. And so I just made a decision to stop criticizing her on anything just for like a short period of time. Like every time something came up for the next, I don't know how long it was. It's kind of all going on now, but I was deliberately not correcting her on the way that she spoke, even if it was logically, and like a third party could say it was logically incorrect. I decided not to do that, and our relationship and our communication got like 100 times better. Why? Because I stopped focusing on all the negative things, and she stopped feeling so constricted by my behavior, so that she could actually think and say what she felt, because she's like a big feeler. I didn't point that earlier. I'm the logical, she's the feeler, and yeah, there's a lot of mixed things in there, but in simple terms, that's how it goes. And so she could feel and say what she felt, and I could logic and say what I felt. And it has just been 100 times better since then. And so if we are fighting over something and that happens, I understand that there's no need to be overcorrective on certain things, because it just doesn't help move the conversation forward. It doesn't help move our relationship forward. Now, back again, it doesn't mean that we don't discuss problems in the relationship. It doesn't mean we don't address the weeds, pull out the weeds, heal our relationship, and move on, because that is super important in any relationship, even with dad to son, dad to daughter, dad to, kids. So back to thinking about raising kids and not ruining them forever, and doing one mistake that's going to ruin them forever. Parenting is a longevity thing. Now, my kids are 2.5, 5.5. I guess one is almost 3 in a month. I'm looking at my calendar, in a month. And then my other one will be 5 in 4 months, something like that. And so 5 and 3, and I don't have older kids, but I feel like as time goes on, I understand that parenting is a longevity thing. It's not just this week, this day, this month. It's day in, day out for years and years to come. And so that all your parenting is basically built upon one another. All your impact is built upon one another. So those little mistakes that you make, as long as you continue to forgive and to learn and to move on, your relationship becomes better. And as long as you continue to do that, those little mistakes will be reduced and pretty much forgotten about. And so we don't continue to water the bad things that are happening, the things that are going incorrect. We don't continue to water those things. We focus on the good things happening. So how do we do that? When your kid listens and obeys, we praise them. When they help out, we praise them. Whenever they do something good without us telling them, we praise them. And I'm not advocating for praising them always and all the time. It can be something super simple, like good job helping your brother, thank you for helping, thank you for opening the door for us. Just little things like that. The little things that you can be appreciative and encouraging to them to grow their character and build their character up in the way that God wants them to be built up. And so that is the key, to build them up. It's not to, blow up their heads into thinking that there's something greater than that they are. We're not praising them because they're the best in the world. We're saying you're created in God's image, you're awesome, you're loved, and you're doing a good job. That's it. It's not about rewarding and shaming them over things that they do. It's not about that. It's about encouraging and helping them develop in who they are. And without that encouragement, without the water pouring into the good plants, without the sunlight, the good sun being put into them, they won't grow. They will do something, but they will not grow towards the sun. That's super cheesy, but it makes a lot of sense. They're not going to grow in the direction that God wants them to grow unless you do as God wants you to do for them to grow in that direction. And so encouragement is a big piece of that. So we pour water on the good things, we pull out the bad things, and we pour water on the good things, and we let the good things grow. Now, another thing with having littles is potty training. And we're potty training my 3-year-old. And even with my 5-year-old now, one thing that's been super helpful is rewards for them. My littlest one never really was like, hey, if you do something good, like you'll get a treat for it, which is like pretty rare for us to do. But with potty training, that's where we introduce kind of rewards for our oldest. And he did really good. It's like he needed to be motivated in some way to go poop in the potty. And so it was our youngest. And so ever since he's potty trained, the little one hasn't been wanting to go poop in the potty. I don't know why. He just like kind of holds it in. I guess just because he's not used to it. But it's been an up and down journey, and we tried like, hey, if you go, we'll give you a piece of chocolate, which has helped some, but then he'll go back and like just not go. But last night, he pooped in his pants like 3 times yesterday. And then last night I was like, buddy, tomorrow if you keep your underwear clean and dry, we'll go and get a Hot Wheel. And this morning, he pooped in the toilet, and my wife took him to get a Hot Wheel. It's like $1. Just that simple thing helped him move his progress along to poop in the potty. And we did this for our oldest too. We gave him quite a lot of toys, a lot of cheap toys, $1 Hot Wheels cars, and some other big ones where it would help him be rewarded for his progress. And so after a while, he started pooping in the potty with no reward, no nothing. He just did it because that's what he was used to. And so he didn't need to be rewarded anymore. He didn't need a, good job, Xander, you pooped in the potty, like parade. Like he moved on, he did it. It's just a normal thing for him to do, right? And so there's a season for, specific praise for specific things to help him grow in that. Later on, my oldest, he was having trouble peeing in his bed at nighttime. And this would be like every few days. He would do it, and it was super annoying, getting up to like crying, yelling and screaming, and a wet bed, and having to clean it up, having to clean him up, having to deal with a yelling child, and on and on. And it was just a nightmare. And so we were like, if you keep your bed clean and dry, we'll get you a Hot Wheel the next day. And so he would do it. And so he did this for a few days, and we were like, okay, cool. We don't want to keep giving him toys for every single day. So we're like, all right, what if we do multiple days? So like if you do two days in a row, keep it clean and dry, you get a toy. If you do 3 days, so it'd be 2 days and then you get a toy. 3 days, you get a toy. 4 days and you get a toy. And so we did that for like a couple weeks. We also did it for his nap time at his preschool that he was out last year, where he would pee at nap time every once in a while. So we did that. As long as it kept him clean and dry, you would get a toy after, the 4 days in a row, 5 days in a row. And it helped him. And now he hasn't done it at all. And like, it's been a long time, like 6 months maybe. And so those little rewards help. And it's those little rewards pouring water on the good things to help them grow. And rewards are super important. People will say that like the journey is what matters. It's not the reward at the end of the journey. But the journey only matters if there is a reward at the end. And so the journey without the reward is basically a pointless journey. Now, does that mean the journey is useless? Obviously not. The journey is super important. It is where you get all your joy. Because we know once you get that reward, you will feel fulfilled, but you will also feel like you need to go on another journey, which is exactly the point. You don't have a journey and not have a reward. You don't have the reward without the journey. The reward doesn't matter if you don't take the journey. And so you need both and. And I forgot what my point was in this. People say that the journey is the reward. And yeah, sure, I get the point of that. But it's also important to know that everyone is on a journey. And even in the Bible, it says we run the race to get the prize. Like this is straight from the Bible. You run the race to get the prize. Like we are running the race to get the prize. What's the prize? Jesus, heaven. And we know that we're saved by faith, by the faith of Christ, that we are saved through his death, his resurrection, and we're saved into him, to become one with him again. And we're running the race of salvation, right? We're being sanctified each and every day, and we're running that race to win the prize of being with him forever. It's a both and. We're saved and we are being saved. And so this is the same thing with kids. They are great in who they are, but they also need to grow to become great. They need to grow to become a good human. They need to grow to become who God wants them to be. It's both and. And so rewards are a great way to do that. And I know people will push back and say, like, I don't want to raise up spoiled kids. You don't make spoiled kids by rewards. You make spoiled kids by just giving them things. Like, without the journey, you just give them something. Without working for something, you give them something. That's what makes somebody spoiled. It's not being thankful for what you have. It's not being thankful for what you're given. It's not being thankful for things that you have worked for to get. You're just given things, and now you're expecting things, and now you're spoiled. And so they're like completely different worlds. Like, if you're rewarding your kid with a chocolate to go poop in the potty, I wouldn't worry about spoiling them or making them fat because they want a little piece of chocolate. Because my son, he doesn't want a chocolate every time he goes potty. Neither of them do. He doesn't want a car every time he goes potty. Neither of them do. And so rewards are great, and they're not going to ruin your kids. You're not going to ruin your kids by giving them rewards. And I don't know how this became a video about rewards. So we're just going to circle back here and say that we're not going to pour water. We're not going to grow things that are the weeds. And back to the whole original statement at the beginning, stop watering dead plants. I'll just say that we just need to stop focusing on the dead things in our lives and focus on those things that are alive, growing, and that we want to grow. That's about it. Thank y'all for watching. If you're a dad, you're an entrepreneur. You don't have to be an entrepreneur, but if you're interested in business, I have a newsletter for you. Sign up, the link in the bio. It's free, and make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, shoot me a comment, let me know what's up, and thank you for watching. I'll see you later. I'll see you out there. Check out some of my other videos. See ya. Toodaloo.